Namaskar. I'm Supriya Mahabaleshwarkar, co-convener in TAC Pune. I welcome you all on behalf of INTAC, the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, Natural Heritage Division and INTAC Pune Chapter, Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini and BIF Development Research Foundation. The Rig Veda says, waters are the foundation of all the universe. Water is known as Apa in Sanskrit. It is said to be the same age as the universe itself. The world is said to have been originally without light. There was darkness wrapped around darkness, and all around was water. Water is revered and worshipped in all our ancient scriptures. To celebrate this water and India's traditional water systems that acknowledge the importance of conservation of water, on occasion of World Water Week 2022, INTAC Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini and BIF Development Research Foundation are organizing this series of online talks. The series aims to create awareness about the importance of traditional water systems of India with a focus on step wells. India has a rich culture of water conservation through its numerous traditional water systems. They represent the knowledge associated with them, along with the diversity of geographical settings and culture. Understanding these systems could lead to important inputs in dealing with the water crisis, thus leading to a more sustainable and equitable water management for humans and more than human beings on Earth. We are blessed to have with us Dr. N. Madhavan today. I'm requesting Dr. Ajit Vartak of Maharashtra Vriksha Samvardhini to introduce him here to our forum today.
Good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Madhavan. Dr. Madhavan did his graduation and master's degree in geology from Bharatidasan University, Tiruchirappalli. He did his postgraduate diploma in ecology and environment from Indian Institute of Ecology and Environment, New Delhi. He did his PhD in environmental chemistry from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. The title of his thesis was Environmental Chemistry of Fluoride and Related Elements in Groundwater and Associated Soil of Ajmer District, Rajasthan. In 2006 to 2008, he completed Environmental Health and Safety Management course from University of California, USA. He did computer-aided design and drafting at Mission Valley, California, USA. Initially, he worked on different projects nearly for 15 years, which were related to fluoride and related element in groundwater of an arid region of Ajmer District, Rajasthan, related to mercury and arsenic enrichment in natural environment due to metal mining in India, arsenic concentration in sulfide ore mining and smelting places as a source of arsenic in groundwater. From 2008, he started working in different academic fields. For example, initially he started working as environmental chemist at Babu Banarasidas Institute of Engineering and Technology in UP. And from 2010 till present, he's working as assistant professor teaching safety, health and environment, earth science and sedimentary geology at Deen Dayal Energy University, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. He has published many research articles in national and international journals. With this short introduction, now I request Dr. Madhavan to deliver his talk on the cultural preservation and value of felsic igneous rocks used as steps in temple tanks of Tamil Nadu. Dr. Madhavan.
Thank you, Dr. Ajit. Thank you, Madam Supriya. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'd like to give you a talk on the cultural. Just 1 minute, I'll give you a. Hope everyone have my slides in full screen now. Did I am, madam? Is it visible in full
Perfect.
screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
So today I'll be giving a talk on the cultural preservation and the value of felsic igneous rocks used as steps in temple tanks of Tamil Nadu. I just show my cursor here. You must be seeing the felsic igneous rocks. Did you able to see the cursor on the screen? So that rest of the presentation, when I point my cursor, it could be visible for you. Is it visible?
Yes, we can see your cursor, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Visible.
So the felsic, the opposite is mafic. Felsic igneous rock and mafic igneous or mafic magma. When you look for a felsic igneous rocks, it's light in viscous, whereas mafic heavy, opposite. And the felsic, when you are finding it, it has more in silica, whereas mafic light in silica. So by density, when magma is there, so mafic goes at the bottom and felsic comes at the top. So just with this small introduction, we go for the first slide. Here, some of them you must be seeing. This is Geology of Tamil Nadu. In Geology of Tamil Nadu, the first one is era, and next one is formation, mega annum, and color and place. I have made it. So you when you want to read this table, you should read it from the bottom, not from the top to bottom. From bottom to go up, because I'll just explain. So the era RKN, when you are taking it, that goes to 3600 million years. That is mega annum. The mega annum, it's a denotion. When you look for a prefix name, kilo, mega, giga. So sometimes they write it 3.6 GA. That means giga annum. Suppose an archaeologist, when you found this 1.8 in tertiary age, when they say 1800 KA, that means kilo annum. So this is a small note. Many times when we read a scale, a geological person comfortable with the GA and MA. Recent one, archaeologists and other people use KA. So it could, when you read a literature, it can help you. Now, as I said, this RKN is 3600 million years to 2500 million years. This RKN, we are not very sure either life was there or not, we don't know. But have a look of it. I just separated a line with the 2500 to 500 million years, 500 to 250, and 250 to 66. There is a reason behind it why they have separated. It's not that I am separated, but uniformly people who study geology, they separate RKN, Proterozoic, Mesozoic, and Tertiary, from oldest to youngest. So when you look for the Proterozoic, that is in 500 million years, or this Proterozoic 500 to 252, the history Earth, when you are finding it, around 450 million years, 350 million years, and 250 million years, there was a tremendous disturbance. Life got completely erased, and especially the 66 million years in tertiary also, we have a tremendous disturbance. A geological person comes to know about it, but just for a clarification, I am just giving you the Proterozoic and Mesozoic, Tertiary. We divide based on that. Some earth event happened majorly. So the RKN, which you are looking, the oldest form, 36 million, we do have in the places something like Madurai, Pudukottai, Tirunelveli, Thoothukudi, Virudhunagar, Dindigul. So here I point it out. I'm sorry, I would have told you Madurai somewhere, Madurai, Pudukottai somewhere. So this is North Chennai, and below that you have Kanchipuram, and below that you have Madurai, Tirunelveli, and the last point Kanyakumari. So when you look this geological map, most of them, more than 50%, you must be having a yellow color. This yellow color denotes yellow color denotes mostly a type of granites, yellow granite I marked here. So these places, wherever you are seeing yellow color, that granite, that denotes more than 36 million year old or 2500 million year old rocks. So next to that, we do have a pink color marking. This pink color denotes something around 2500 to 500 million. That rock is called a charnokite. Why I am repeating this one for a granite and charnokite? It helps us where are all the tanks or temples being built. It's not brought the material not very far away from them. It comes very near to the places. So that's why I have written geologically and material formation wise and the age wise, how many million years old, what is its color, and what are all the places. On that basis, when you are finding it, the pink color is called charnokite, especially the Chennai area and Madurai and mostly the Western Ghat region. These were all having a charnokite area. Then Proterozoic, there is no major formation in Tamil Nadu, but we do have a Cretaceous formation. The Cretaceous, it's marked green in color here. The cursor what I'm marking, this is Cretaceous.
Dr. Madhavan, sorry to disturb you. We have a feedback here. Your voice is sounding a little muffled. There are disturbances. Could you try to hold the mic closer or maybe talk a bit louder?
Okay, sure. Did I am audible now clearly?
This is much better. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do that now. Now the Cretaceous, which is there in green in color, it is there in Tiruchirappalli. Now have a look up the coastal area, which is marked in orange color, that is Kadalur sandstone, that is tertiary, 66 million years to 1.8 million years, recent one. In that way, I have divided the coastal area and the mainland area. On that basis, I go for my presentation now. Now, this small Excel sheet, what I have given here, this has places. The slide number is there, 4, 5, 6, something like that. And the Pallavaram, the place, and the river, major rivers, and what is the main rock description and the sand, it's written over here. So that can help when you are, as a person, when you look back my PowerPoint presentation, it may help for you. Now in the first slide, this presentation, what we are having here, this is the Chennai area, the topmost. In the Chennai, we do have a place, Kabaleshwara temple. The Kabaleshwara 7th century temple. It's a very oldest tank. How do I say oldest? So far, in the 7th century, when I am looking at by age, the tank which is made in 7th, that is made on the coastal deposits. The Chennai, when you are finding here geologically, on the eastern side of your Chennai, that is completely made up of coastal alluvium. The coastal alluvium, the Chennai, when you are finding it, I just show my cursor. This is the area. This is the area we are looking for it. But just below the coastal alluvium, you have a charnokite. So the temple, what we are having here, that is on coastal alluvium, not on the charnokite. So the whole tank steps, what you are finding it here, that is made up of charnokite on the coastal deposit. So it would be just 50 kilometers only being transported. It's not very far away from the place. So we come to know in Chennai area, this is Red Hills, Chidambaram, Undi. Those were all the Chembrambakam. These were all the fresh water which is supplying to the Chennai area. But when you look for actual the hard rock, it is far away. This is the first further westernmost area. So below that you have a polar basin that is entirely different. But which basin is Chennai is sitting, where the fresh water is flowing when you are finding the river Adayar as well as the Kuvam, which is supply and it goes over here. So the catchment of Adayar and the Kuvam, it starts from here and flows to this place. So it goes to the coastal alluvium. And on the bottom southern side, you do have a chapter. So the rock which you are having here, that is made up of charnakite. It's not the granite because it's charnakite, because charnakite is very much available comparing to the granite. Granite is very far away. So the 7th century, they have made in such a way that that rock is being transported, and they have. And apart from that, have a look at the greenery at the back. There are 2-3 coconut trees, and we do have a quite tall tree over there. This denotes that even though it is near to the coast, coastal water being or saltwater intrusion is not there. Otherwise, these trees won't be there. Say, for example, since I am in the coast, maybe the coastal water maybe would be there in the system, but it is not. It is the rainwater which is being collected surrounding area or the temple which is being put over there. Apart from that, either it's a fresh water or a saline water. How do I know? When you are finding it at the back, we do have a few trees that shows that the trees are not sad or something. That denotes that periodically watching either the tree is fine or not. From that, we come to know either saltwater intrusion is near to the place is there or not. We can find it. So this is one of the ways. So I go to the next slide. The next slide, what I am showing here, this is further down south. The place is called Kanjipuram. The Kanjipuram is having a polar basin.
Could you be a little louder? Again, a request.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
This place is called
Closer to the mic. Yes.
Yeah.
Little.
This place is called Palar. This Palar, it is there in the yellow in color. Just one minute. This yellow color, what you are finding it, that is the river. The river is called Palar. It has a tributary that is Cheyyar. So both merge, and this is the place where we are having Kanjipuram. The Kanjipuram, when you are finding it, the pink color denotes that is charnakite. That is charnakite. And the blue color is gneiss. Sky blue color is gneiss. So the gneiss is slightly metamorphic. Or charnakite also, when you are finding it, it won't be the pinkness what we are having in your granite. You may not have a look of here. This is a recent one which they have placed on over there near to the lake. It shows that some of them are dark in color, some of them are fresh in color, felsic color. That shows either they must have taken a charnakite or a gneissic rock nearby area. Apart from the tank, tank receives the water and other things, but the material where it has been, when I'm finding it, either it can be a charnakite or it can be a gneiss, but gneiss comes very far away area. So plenty of charnakites are available. Charnakite itself, they have made it. Apart from this Kanjipuram temple, when you find on the shore, the shore means coming to the Bay of Bengal area, that has a beautiful Mahabalipuram shore temple. The shore temple, when you are finding it, it's made in 7th century, but what it attracted for me during the presentation, they do have a very small shore temple built in 7th century, but next to the shore temple, you can see a beautiful small pond made completely on rock. This one, it seems like that even though shore is next to the temple, but that the water is not there. But the extreme left side picture, when you are finding it, it has a beautiful rainwater being collected on that place. And how do I say it's a rainwater? It turned to green in color. The green color, it shows that quite a period of time it's being stored over there. If it is a freshwater, algae comes. If it is a hypersaline, I have a little doubt, it may goes to green in color. Instead of green in color, it must be going to pinkish color, because always if you go to any salt pan near to the tuticorin salt pan, it won't go to green in color, because the microbes which lives in salt water, the microbes lives in fresh water, entirely different. So the one which lives in salt water, it goes to pinkish color, but whereas the freshwater one, it goes to green in color. So that denotes that the water which is being collected here, it's not from saline, it's a freshwater one. Even though 7th century, a very small place they have, very small temple they have made, the temple itself have a rainwater, and the rainwater being beautifully collected in a small pond. The pond, when you are finding it, it's all made up of charnakites. The felsic color you can see here, it's not a very dark color. Most of the temples, when you are finding it, the most of the temples, especially in Tamil Nadu or other states, especially in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, they made the felsic means a very light color they do use, but the dark color they use for inside small statue or the dignity which they are worshipping, they keep it inside. That could be in dark in color. I don't know, I have not checked, but one has to check either the inner sanctum, what the goddess will keep inside, is it made up of light color rock or a dark color rock? I'm not very sure, so one has to check inside. So apart from that, in the next slide, what I would like to show here, this is Vettuvan Kovil. This is very much related to the last slide. This one last minute I have included. The reason behind the Kailash temple in Ellora, that is made by Rashtrakuta king in 7th century. This Kalugumalai Vettuvan Kovil made in 8th century by Pandyan king. And Virupshaka temple in Pattakal, that also made in 8th century. In 8th century, when I look, there is roughly, I always feel that from Ahmedabad to Maharashtra, especially the place where we are having Ellora, and furthermore, Karnataka and further south of Andhra Pradesh and entering to Kanjipuram, this has a travel link. Previously, people, all the Jain people, to travel up to South India. Most of the South Indian rock cave temple, this Vettuvan Kovil temple, when you are finding it, it's made for Jain people. It's not for Saivite people or Vaishnavite people. It's made for Jain people. Below this Jain temple, you just to see, even though it's a rock cut, it's almost like your Ellora, but below that they have collected water. I do remember when I visit Ellora, I'm not recalling now, that Ellora also has a small pond or something. Somewhere they have made it in such a way, the water, Ellora or Ajanta also, the water which is being flowing over there, it is collected at one place. So somewhere a type of 7th century, a type of architect or engineer, those are the people, have their own mind how to excavate a rock and make a beautiful carving. And it's not that carving of the rock important, but in such a way, the rain which is pouring on these places, it can be collected at one place. That one place where it is collecting, that can store for a long time. That storage of water that gives for them during the summer time, drinking or bathing, sufficient for a very small number of people, especially when I'm looking for a 7th century, how many people must be living in this place? Maybe 100 people, 200 people. Now, this is a large little place. This is Kovilpatti. This Kalugumalai is nearby area. They do have a beautiful catchment area, that is White Park. So population may be more now, but when I look for the 7th century, such a beautiful mine. They have made it in such a way that instead of going to little far away to the river basin, whatever the rain it's accumulating, they have collected. But this is indicating of beautiful. If you are an audience, you should connect with Kailash Temple in Ellora and Kalugumalai in Vettuvan Koil here, this place. This is Kalugumalai Vettuvan Koil, and Vripshaka Temple in Patahadakal. And the previous slide, what I was showing for Kanjipuram, this all has similar architecture, and they're having a beautiful pond to store that water. This is just between Madurai and Tirunelveli place. This is the place. The next slide, what I'd like to show you, that is for the Madurai temple. The basin is Vaigai. In the previous slide, I have shown you all the temples I have chosen in such a way it falls in one of the river basin. So Vaigai comes in this basin. So as it is, the pinkish color is Charnakite, and the yellow color is your alluvium, and Madurai is there in the center of the place. Let me have a look at my guitar. That's if it is Madurai. So this is a type of gneissic rock. It's a Charnakite over there. Now previously, I do remember when I was young, and most of the time when I was going to the temple, since I am coming from Madurai, this painting was not there on the steps. The temple itself, they have repainted and they give massive color now. Previously, it was not there, but the rock structure is completely Charnakite. So it's a dugout earth channel system. How they have made, I do remember, I used to think that how this water being come over here, either it comes from itself, from the bottom when there was a rain, or the one, but that is not the truth. But have a look at the temple premiers, how far away this all the places when it is receiving a rain, this rain water being collected, and the water they have made it in such a way that one dugout earth channel system, this water automatically increases. Or if there is no rain at all, but the temple is not very far away from the river Vaigai. So when river Vaigai is having a bit of water or a flood, it automatically comes in such a way they have made the point that it get water from the river system, or if the tank is full, the excess water can drain out from here to the nearby river system Vaigai. So they have made it in such a way that it's not that over flooding or something they have made. So there was a calculation. Without calculation, they cannot made such a the tank. They exactly know how much area of the place being built and how much rain at an average year they can get. So those water being collected and being utilized for their own purpose. It's not that for others, but it has its own beautification. This is for our Madurai. When I say Charnakite, one should slightly feel it has magnesium silica or iron silica a little bit. So when it for the granite may not be having magnesium silica or iron silica, MgSiO3 or FeSiO3. So the Charnakite, how do I identify it's a Charnakite or a granite? If it is more pinkish color, that comes granite. No dark color material, magnesium or iron, if it comes, that comes Charnakite. Charnakite is an alternate form. It's not that oldest one. It's a remelt from the granite and formed in such a way. So now when you look the further down south, the place is called Tirunelveli. The Tirunelveli, have a look up from D to D dash. This is the cross section. The cross section D to D dash, when you are finding it, this place is Charnakite, and in between the place is gneiss, which is slightly metamorphic, and you have alluvium. The river where it is exactly crossing, that place is marked slight blue in color. Two places it crosses, 1 and 2. The 2 places it's marked sky blue color. So this we come to know that it's originating from Charnakite. This is not made recently. The picture which is being shown here, it's not made recently. This is a very old one, but I don't know which century they have made. But this is the place where the river Thabaramani is originating. It's fine. It's originating, and they have made an infrastructure that you can go and visit, and we can refresh yourself, touch the water, or take the bath, or whatever it may be. But what it's attracted towards myself, there was a garbage collection, and they are collecting. That's also fine. Somebody is going and throwing a plastic and other things. But what I surprised to see, the floor of that Charnakite, that area here, it has white color powder. This white color powder is just nothing for insect. They applied some chlorine, chlorine powder, that is the cheapest one for disinfection purpose. When a river is originating such a beautiful place, when you put chlorine and you are killing almost all the organisms over there, it should not be happen over there. If somebody is going, we should request those people not to apply the chlorine powder over there. Plastic is fine. Plastic may not kill organisms, but the chlorine kills and bring the dissolved oxygen level very low. That is, degrade the river completely. It's not that throwing a plastic going to be degrade. That is a different effect. Microplastic would be there that goes to the seashore. That's different. But applying a chlorine for disinfection, fundamentally wrong. Somebody has to advise. One should not use chlorine powder at all. Many places, especially catchment area, either yesterday presentation I have seen, so many garbages are there, it's fine. But during so many VIP visit, people immediately throw some this chlorine powder, those all dissolve and goes to the tank. So tank, it takes its own time to come out. So these were all the things one has to note down, that it should not happen. So this is with the mainland Tirunelveli. And finally, the place what we are looking at is, that is in Kanyakumari. That place is called Suchindram. The Suchindram is just nothing. It is very near to Nagarkoil is here and Kanyakumari is here. On the way to Trivandrum, it is there Suchindram. The Suchindram, this place when you are finding it, it is again at Charnakite. The Charnakite area. This is the place you in Tamil Nadu people found now lot of rain over there. Lot of rain. It's a more agriculturally very productive area, Kanyakumari districts. You have a red banana or a yellow banana. Banana cultivation is more in this region, especially comparing to Kerala. All the material which is being planted here, it goes too far them. So because easy transportation instead of transporting to furthermore. So that much water is available in Suchindram. So this is the tank, and what you are having is a beautiful settlement, and it has a lot of population. After seeing all the slides, when you find that, oh, these tanks are beautiful, can we go or live over there? It comes for any person. But have a look at population map per square kilometer, especially Chennai, Madurai, Tirunelveli, Coimbatore, Kanyakumari. These were all the places per square kilometer, more than 900 people are living. That means population-wise, densely populated. So densely populated means one has to think either to go there or not. So this is the one. So up to now, I have shown you some of the tanks which is being there on the mainland. From now, I just go for delta. The one is now entirely different. Whatever the slides what we have seen now, previously it was on the main, either it's a Charnakite or granite. Now have a look at the Pragadishwara temple, which is there on Tanjavur. It's fine, on the 1,000-year-old the temple. It's very massive. What it make me to really amazing, they used not a very small amount of granite. Have a look at it, 130,000 tons of granite. 130,000 tons of granite on a lateritic zone. Have a look at it. Laterite is a sedimentary, alumina rich. That laterite weather very fast, red color. But here they have brought 130,000 tons. How it possible? How do they made it? So if you ask a question, this Chola, Rajendra Chola's father or grandfather, he made a dam on the main Kaveri river during his time. So when he made, that helps for the Rajendra to make a canal. This canal is on the left side. This canal is just nothing. It brings the water from river Kaveri. So why he made this canal? That gives the answer. Now have a look. Near Tiruchirappalli, we do have granites. That granites, normally the Chola, wherever he goes, either he is in Tamil Nadu or he goes to Indonesia or he is in Cambodia, they have made a very large structures. Wherever they have made a large structure, either in Cambodia, they do made a canal in Mekong. So he mined the granite 50-60 kilometers away and bringing through those material by canal, not by cart or anything. So this is with reference to this canal. Same canal you can find most of the big temples in Tamil Nadu, especially the Cholas whom they made, or Pallava also. I have a little doubt whom Pallava also made a big temples. And in Tanjavur as well as in Cambodia, there is a canal. That canal helps to bring massive rocks, which is 130,000 tons, and he made it. So that helps. That is a Chola. But next to that temple, if it is this big temple, he made a small tank. This tank, what it does, it collects water. Water means whatever the rain is happening, automatically it goes. Or the back of the temple, the same canal being diverted. So either the canal, through the canal, the overflowing water can go to the canal, or from the canal it can come. Such a model they have. So this tank actually worked as a percolation tank. Percolation means excess water and it can be used under some other time. So, so this is with reference to Tanjavur. The soil is lateritic, and they have made the whole structure with the canal one. Now, when you come to the next one, this is also in delta. All the slides now it comes for the deltic region. The same delta, the Kaveri, when you are finding it, A to A dash, that is your Kaveri, which is flowing over here, is being pictured here in that different way. It has hard rocks as well as sedimentary rocks. So the Kaveri basin, when you are finding it, especially the Tanjore, which is there here, or the Mannargudi, this is the tank, what we have seen in Mannargudi, the place is here. So the Mannargudi, when you are finding it, it is situated in the Kaveri basin, one of the small irrigation canal only passed to the Mannargudi. But what is below this tank, one should understand. It has alluvium. That alluvium is not a big matter because near to the coast and you have alluvium. But it's very clearly marked by our groundwater, Central Groundwater Board, Aquifer 1 aquifer 2, aquifer 3, and aquifer 4. What is this aquifer 1, 2, 3, 4? Or B1, B2, B3, B4? When you are finding it shows, since I did my geology, I know that 66 million years back, and we do have a Cretaceous time, and the sea encroached inside the land. So it came up to here. That's what you are seeing, Kadalur sandstone. This was very old. And next to this Kadalur, after when the sea is going back, it made the Eocene sandstone, that is 33 million years. So sandstone, clay, sandstone, clay, sandstone, and alluvium. What does that mean? So one has to think this sandstone, when you have excess amount of rain, that brings the sand. Catchment area is somewhere in your Mysore area. All the granitic terrains are there, and there is no wonder you are bringing all amount of sand over here. But how clay being formed? That means you have excess amount of water. That excess amount of water, and there is not much of any flood or anything happen on the major time. So whatever the present of in your water, it being settled very calm time. This is wherever you are having a sand, rough time, soft time. There is not much agitation on our continent side. Again, you have a sandstone and clay. That shows that repetition, calm and rough, that what happened in the 66 million years, and you have a beautiful accumulation. Over that, you do have a tank. Now, we know that when I have a tank in this place, it is an alluvium. As long as the aquifer is there filled with water, the tank is fine. But below that, it has a clay, beautiful clay that protect the water, won't be percolate, go away. So it store the water over here. So for example, Kaveri is here. The Kaveri is here means this is the aquifer. This aquifer can feed this Kadalur sandstone as well as Eocene, and all blocks in this way. The clay prevent to go to the aquifer 2. Aquifer 2 water also it receive, and it's a impermeable layer. So B1 and B2. So in that way it is sandwiched, and they do have this water beautiful. So whatever the water you are having here, this is a monsoon, and it's been accumulated on that Mannargudi area. So this is with reference to that Mannargudi. Next, I will show you the same delta area. The place is called Mahamaham Tank in Kumbhakonam. Every 12 years once, they go for a beautiful bath, like in Nasik, people go celebrate, and somewhere in Ganges also people go for Allahabad and many places, Kumbh Mela. The same Kumbh Mela exists in Tamil Nadu in a different way. Every 12 years they go to the tank and they worship. So have a look of this tank now. The tank has a beautiful granite slabs. There is no wonder in a delta area you have a granite slabs. But people, when you are looking here, some of them are taking a bath, but it has a very low amount of water. That means nearby area, the tank, in order to fill from the Kaveri River is distributed into many channels. That what they did long time back, so the Cholas. So they diversified, and that irrigation, that water which is coming in a channel, that can supply sometimes. If the channel is choked and if it is occupied, water may not be comes. Nowadays, Kaveri doesn't have more amount of water, very less amount of water. That shows that little amount in the Kumbhakonam area, the tank. So in the next slide, in the same Kumbhakonam area, we have a beautiful temple. It is not a tank, it's a temple that's called the Dharasuram. Dharasuram is a beautiful temple. People always think that one should visit this place for its own architecture and the beautification of how they have made it. Have a look at the geology of the Dharasuram lake. The one here, what you are seeing here, this is Vennaru, Vettaru, Kudamurutti, Kaveri, Kollidam, like Jhelum, Jeenap, Ravi, Pierce, Satluj, how 5 rivers are there on our Indus side. The same type of 5 rivers exist in our Kaveri. So this Kudamurutti is the river. This Kudamurutti river side only, this Dharasuram is there. When sometimes the channel is choked, the rainwater unable to go out, that what happened here. Have a look up depth to water level here, that is just less than 2 meters. I do remember when my mother hometown is near to this place, just less than 2 meters, you have a groundwater. So we no need to go for a very long distance, less than 2 meters, you have a beautiful water. So when excess amount of rain comes, as you see here, water unable to go outside, but it's been trapped inside the temple. It shows like a tank. So this is with reference to the earlier architecture, how they have made in such a way that the drainage can go out very easily. But sometimes when we make certain mistakes and the water being trapped inside. Now, in the same alluvium, have a look at Vaithishwaran Koil. The Vaithishwaran Koil, it is there in between the 2 rivers. So it's not a 2 river, Kaveri and Kollidam. The main source only split into 2. Part 1 is Kaveri, part 2 is Kollidam. Kollidam accommodate more amount of water. So here, this Nandi, it shows slightly. Have a look of it. Number 1, it's showing a massive amount of the granite slabs are there, but have a look of this much amount of alluvium. Main land is somewhere. The whole place you don't have, except granite comes from this far away. That means you have to go 100 or 200 kilometers far away, but it's been brought. As I said earlier, B1, B2, B3, and B4, you have your aquifers, and the thickness of alluvium, it increases towards to the seaside further east. Previously, we have seen somewhere here, Tiruchirappalli, Tanjavur, Kumbahonam, and Mannargudi comes this side, and you are having a Vaithishwaran Koil over here. So alluvium thickness is this much. Suppose if you think that I want to store water in this alluvium, it is not possible because it drains very easily. Wherever the water flows, it depends on who is drawing or withdrawing water, it goes. But it required a caution that in such a way that either you have to put some amount of clay so that it won't go out. The tanks, when you are finding it, it's pristine clear. It stores water. It gives during the summer time, it cools, and nearby area, all the places when you are finding it, these were all the places most of the time, either ancient time it being used as a educational center. Educational center means people still learn music, dance, and other things. Apart from what we educate, present education, modern education, the old education system still exists in many of the temple area. Certain things you can learn, especially music, dance. Right now, it's not coming in my mind. Those were all the things. It's all happened in front in this area where you have a tank. This is what they have planned on the ancient time. The most of the tanks, what I am showing, it exists or it been made 7th to 10th century. None of them are modern tanks. It's all ancient time. Ancient means below 10th century itself, or 1,000 years back itself, they have planned and they have made on the alluvium aquifer. Now, come to the another deltic area. Previously, we have studied somewhere here that Vaithishwaran temple. Now, Vaithishwaran temple somewhere here. This is the C to C dash where the Chidambaram comes. This is Kollidam and Kaveri. Both rivers are over. You cross the Kollidam and you have a Chidambaram. there also you have the same type of granitic temple. So when you find from where they have brought it, maybe somewhere nearby area where it is available, again they have to go for 100 200 kilometers. The same exists. What you have below the Chidambaram temple, when you are finding it, actually for 1 2 3, they may not be having the much earlier Kadalur sandstone, that is aquifer 4. They may not be having. Have a look of thickness about 300 meters below, up to 300 meters, you have a beautiful aquifer system, either aquifer 1 2 3. Still it goes. So what I would like to say, this is a aquifer system which exists in Chidambaram. Now, finally, what I would like to show, this is a little different. This is Rameshwaram. Rameshwaram is not a deltic place. It is there on the, of course, it's Rameshwaram is alluvium, but the alluvium is coastal. One has to know that difference between coastal and the river. So coastal means not very far away you can have a saline water, but still we do have a 10th century tanks which is made completely on the granite, and some of them are still exist some amount of water, but few may not be having water. That shows that the groundwater level is depleting, or rain is not happening much. So this is what happening. So when you look in such a situation, is that Rameshwaram is unsafe? All the water we are withdrawing, that means it's not happening. Have a look of the earlier one with reference to this is the Rameshwaram Island. The Rameshwaram Island, it shows its geology on the left side. Somewhere we do have a sand, beach sand, and other things. Pink color means a lagoon or a sandy plain, and we do have the green color is beaches, and have a look up on the right side. It shows that with reference to electrical conductivity or chloride, and 2 places have salinization happen. That is well number 7 and 12 and 25. Not other places. That means it has to be recovered. How do you do it? That one has to think. Suppose any well means, how do you recharge this well? Why this is having more salinity? So this is the one has to look with the salinity and sodium hazard. One has to look how to do that one. Now in the finally, I have made it one small thing. Just 1 minute. This is the top one is hiding for me. Traditional ponds built on the felsic igneous rock, Tamil Nadu and other South Indian states by millennium societies have higher environmental knowledge of nature and natural resources than present population. And the second one, what I find is the intimate relationship between their livelihood and the natural community gives rise to an ecocentric perspective, reflected in attitudes towards the felsic igneous rocks used in a temple tank construction, and the rainwater poured on the temple channel to the tank, in which natural and natural society are viewed as an indivisible whole. Stones, according to the Shilpa Shastra, are masculine, feminine, and neuter depending on their sound and color. That's why I say either it's a granite or charnakite. Either the granite means coarse grain or fine grain. When you have a coarse grain, the sound comes different. Fine grain means different. So they have their own Shilpa Shastra. Either can I use a masculine or a feminine or neutral, what type of rock. So still I'm not very sure. Tanks and temple, is there any major different type of stone they have to do? I have to find it out. That's a question for myself. The felsic igneous rock that are relative rich elements that are feldspar and quartz, I have said yourself. But whereas mafic rocks are relatively magnesium and iron. Rock textures play a quality of sound, as I said earlier. Male stone produce a tinkle bronze bells when tapped, while female stones produce a tinkle bass. The neutral produce dull sound. So there is a coarse grain, fine grain, and porphyric granites are there. So all the different type of stones being used in different places, especially in temple and tanks. And And in the final, I do have a reference. And I'm not delayed, or I think you must be weird with my sound. I don't know what's the problem for the sound, but here I am. And whatever the participant want to ask a question, they can ask, or I open the chat box and I can read it from the beginning. Here I am.
Thank you for the excellent presentation. Yes, the sound was muffled in between, but I think we got most of it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Well, thank you for that. Should I read out the question for you? Will that?
Madam, right now I'm seeing a chat box. I read it myself.
Sure, sure.
Vishnu, thank you. Richa, something yes, better. Okay. Fascinating presentation. That is Vishnu. Okay. Whatever he want to ask me, he can ask me a question. It doesn't matter that I have to read. He has written many things right now. I just scrolling. Nita, thank you. Interesting. And Rashmi, interesting. Anita, okay. Anybody want to ask a question, they can ask themselves. They can unmute themselves and they can come for a talk. There is no problem. Thank you, Soumya. Rakesh.
Madhavan sir.
Yes, madam. Yes, sir.
I think we had discussed earlier. You told about something, the reason why we are getting step wells, which are very common in northern India, and they are not that much common in southern part of India. I think that you can just explain. That will be better to everyone.
सरांना प्रेझेंटेशन जर का स्टॉप केलं तर सरांचा चेहरा दिसेल कारण आता
Sir, please close your presentation so you will be visible on the screen.
Oh, you want my video?
Yeah.
1 minute. In that case, wait a minute. I exit from my. I think we are all getting late.
No,
1 minute. I don't know. I'm not seeing my. I stopped sharing my presentation.
Yes.
Now I'm fine.
Yes.
Now have a look why we do have in South such a very hard rocks being made, why it's not being made in northern part of India, what happened to the eastern part and western part. I do travel eastern part, western part, north, south. When you are finding it, east doesn't have that much. Have a look of a sedimentary basin more than 5,000 meter or 6,000. I'm not exactly sure that much amount of meter. If I go down, I do have all Gangetic and Brahmaputra sediments are there. Where do I go for granite? Means I have to go to a little far away, either even Orissa, when you are finding it, Puri, Konark, they all made the rocks, temples are more of lateritic type. I'm not very sure the Konark temple, how they have made. The Konark one, I forgot. I've been there for 2 times. I forgot. It's completely made up of laterite. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel very bad that why this person made it in laterite. He would have made it in a hard rock, which is very difficult. As I said, Chola and Pallavas have an excellent how to make a channel, how to cut the rock and bring it to the other part of the alluvium terrain and make a tanks and temples. They have made. This is not possible. There is no such a dynamic person was there on the time 7th century, especially the eastern part. We don't have, I think, or maybe some other disturbance due to their concentration more of reading, writing, talking, those sort of intellectual things being there. Because since they have a plenty of water, why do they worry about to build a tank? First of all, that is the best answer for me to give. But number one, eastern part of India doesn't require any more water. Already water is going, and it's a foolishness to make a tank over there. Of course, tanks are there. They grow fish over there. It's not required to have a very hard rock to put a platform and go inside. So they don't require, and also not available. Western part, when you are finding it, Saraswati river itself have a big question that when it got vanished, due to that one, you have more of step wells are there, not step tanks. There are difference between step wells and step tanks. When you look for a well is small and I go deeper. maybe 50, say for example, 50 feet, 100 feet, 200 feet. I won't say that you can go more because it's required a geological complex, and going little below, it's very little difficult and warm. That is not. Sometimes methane or right now I cannot give. So for example, when you are having a earthquake, sometimes you do have anoxic gases. That sort of things comes out when you go for a very deep well. Without knowing, I cannot enter into any of the well because I got unconsciousness and I fell down. So it's not advisable to go for a very deep well. That is happening in the western part. We don't have more water, very few water available. That places we have a step wells. But have a look of central part of India. Central part of India completely of basalt, and it's very difficult to bring one place to another because basalt is the area. One place if you climb up, and plateau type of places it comes, and next you go, all slope would be there, again plateau. So in that type of topography, it's very difficult to go for how to save for a water. Probably a small basaltic area itself look like a pond area. Have a look of Ajanta or Ellora. There is a small stream over there. There itself they have a small pond because 100 people, 200 people they want to sustain. That sort of small ponds are exist in that area. Now have a look of further down south of Maharashtra, especially Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala. I have a different view comparing to the Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. When you are looking, they do have a Eastern Ghat and Western Ghats. That Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, when you are finding it, most of the architectures are almost similar. Most of the Jain people, which they are having a tough time. Say, for example, Jains, when you are looking, the Jain or Buddhism, when you are finding it, they do have from Afghanistan. When there was a place, I'm not able to sustain myself, they are all pushed back to the south in such a way that they reached first in somewhere Mezana and other area. You do have a step wells. When they are pushed furthermore, they have traveled further to Ajanta and Ellora. Probably they must have moved further down south to Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. Wherever they are moving, they mark their symbol and they have marked their own thing in such a way that since they have an experience, they have made the step wells in many places. In granites are available, charnakites are available, whereas rest of the places, water itself scarcity, especially western part of India, they have not made a step well or step tanks in that way. But whereas it is possible, south, down south, when you are looking below Maharashtra, there are tremendous calmness, more than 1,000, up to now 2,000 years, there is no invaders. So those places, they have made a tank, sustainably, happily they were living. But whereas rest of the places, either the artisans or who are all made those sort of things, either they were exist or they are being pushed to some other place. I'm not very sure. So art and the other things which is being made 1,000 years back, it exists in south, whereas in north, it is not possible. Already water is plenty available, so they no need to worry about it. So this is what I personally feel. It may be a long answer, but in order to conclude myself, this is the one. Is there anyone else like to ask any question, please? I'm a little late. I'm sorry, 7 o'clock now. Maybe some of them want to go home. I'm not very sure. Anybody want to ask any other question?
Sir, we have a question in the chat box about what is the porosity of these rocks, which of the ancient texts mention about the...
Madam, all the aquifers, what they have made it, especially the delta region, it has more amount of porous, but have a look of it. When water flows, it brings suspended sediment. In suspended sediment, clay is one of the matter. All the places, say for example, this much water being accumulated in a small tank, that is matter for me, how much sediment load being it brought. Either it brought a small sediment or a large sediment. If it is small, means clay. That clay particle, when it is settled for over a period of time, it become percolate that one that I have shown you B1, B2, B3. Have a look of sandwich between sandstone clay or shale could be there. So the clay is impermeable. Yeah, say for example, I want to make a small pond. What I do, I go and find out in a river where I have a clay. That clay, I bring it couple of kilograms and paste it on my, say for example, at the bottom, I put the bricks and apply all the clay over there and pour water, and it exists for a long time. So porosity, when you are looking in aquifer, highly porous, whereas in granite, if it is having a fracture or if it is having joints, that is the place it has a pore space. That is the only available pore space for other place. Otherwise, it won't percolate inside. It can water stand as a water. Evaporation could be more on your rocky terrain, but evaporation could be little. Evaporation is more on your sandstone too. That's why vegetation, when you are having or organic matter is there, that prevent your evaporation over there. Water, when you look for any sediments, if it is having an organic matter, that is act like a sponge. Yesterday or day before yesterday, I was hearing your presentation. In the presentation, it was mentioned that right now I'm not recalling what is that one. If you forest, when you are increasing forest, when you are finding it, the forest shed its leaf, but when you burn, it become carbon. So when rain is happening, that time that already you have burned the leaf, so water cannot be retained in that place. Have a look of when it's not burned. Slash and burn is a method in order to avoid a forest fire. But when you slash and burn a forest, but it won't absorb, you have landslide. But when forest is not, if you don't go for slash and fire, then you have more amount of organic matter. That organic matter bind your sediment, bind your water to hold. Water holding capacity could be more. It's not that porosity of your aquifer matter is more than your organic matter is much better. Yes, please, madam.
Sir, we have a question about the Kapalishwar temple, about what is the source of water. Does it get...
Madam, all the temple, nobody sending a water to those places. All the places, what the 7th century to 10th century architectures, what they have made, they made in such a way, water, if it is pouring on the temple, that pouring water, they made it in such a way, they being channeled and the channel water reached to the tank. Even any small village, even people, there is a small difference. What I am saying is correct or wrong. Don't take it very harsh. I have a PhD. That doesn't mean that I have highly educated. When I go to a village, some of them may not be having education, proper education. They have their own common sense. That common sense, my intelligence, when you are looking how a person is, how a person, when I look, that intelligence I should absorb. So in that way, when you are finding it, many village people, they do not go for siltation or any tanks. But what we are doing in the modern time, the land value become very huge. So we silt or put a garbage and all the small tanks being constructed into flats. Or we give a land for making a highway. And I do remember reading a paper that your new airport in Bombay for Maharashtra, it's going to come on a wetland area. Suppose if I am a prime minister, I request not to do that. Yes, please.
Yes, there's another from the same person. How does the various types of stones with respect to geological differences affect the design and construction of water systems in Tamil Nadu?
I simply did a geology. I come to know either it's a granite or charmatite. How to chisel, that That's what I am telling. I am educated. I don't know either it's breakable in x-axis or y-axis. That person knows exactly where if I sizzle, it break easily. He said he is much more educated. I am not. The person who makes a small mortar and pestle, they are much better than me. I simply know its composition. That's it. But he knows how hard it is. But I don't know how they are there. They are learning from their forefathers. And even I don't know about either how to make a different sound, either the coarse grain or a fine grain one. If I make this much thickness of rock, how it sounds, those people know about it. So
it's fantastic to see that you are acknowledging the traditional knowledge and the knowledge that they have.
Thank you, madam.
Another continuing question, is there a design-based dialectic between water retention and the type of stone used? Is there any example where a specific type of stone was used for specific water systems within Tamil Nadu or anywhere else in the country?
Have a look of it. We don't have, I'm not finding any sandstone. Sandstone, see, I brought up in Tamil Nadu, completely, whatever rock I am seeing, I say that, oh, it's all archaic. It's all archaic. Only I know archaic. But after coming to Gujarat, very near to me, Kutch is there. That is Jurassic time. Honestly speaking, all of them are sedimentary rocks. I eager to go and see, oh, these were all sedimentary. These were all sedimentary. Or when I was working in Delhi, oh, Kota sandstone that comes green in color, yellow in color, red in color. That sandstone. That is the first time I am seeing sandstone being given in my hand in the laboratory. I have seen that is a sandstone. I know about it, but we don't have any major sandstone in Tamil Nadu. But sandstones are more available where we are having, especially our Rajasthan, some of the places, and Gujarat has those places. I do have. So the question what you are asking, we don't have more sandstone in south. Whatever the rock available, their person found. This is not me. About 1,000 years back, they have found this is the best rock to suitable for this particular condition. So most of them are set up in fresh water as well as for saline water. So for example, Rameshwaram, when you are finding it, all the steps are being made for the seashore that is not eroded. Have a look of Pallava, he made in Mahabalipuram, beautiful beach, that all the shore temple still exists. Of course, it went for several hurricane or rain, many things. It has its own erosion. That erosion, when you are finding for the 1,000 years, is not much comparing to any recent temple or anything. So it's all they have made it granite and charnakite. They aware about complete knowledge of those stones. When they are doing it, they have made it in such a way that there is no inferior rocks being used so that it can break or anything. They have made their best thing to choose this rock being made for this purpose, means it stands still here for 1,000 years. So we have to acknowledge those people who made. We don't know their name, who did all the things, but as a person, I feel that I am gifted to live in that place or access those places, and we are all enjoying. Many people, many north, east, west, most people travel to and they do found the hospitality and the other things by not by the present people, the infrastructure, what they have made ancestors, and all the things are completely granite, especially in the Rameshwaram. People do go for a tour of various temples. All the temples have a beautiful structures, and still we do enjoy. We don't no need to go for any extra money to spend anything. But these were all the gift. Anybody can go all over the world. Person can come and they can sit and enjoy. It's all our own property. It's not that somebody else's property, and it's all made in a beautiful granite as well as charnakites. They have not made any temple in Tamil Nadu in sandstone. I just see one time when I'm making this statement, is there anything they have made it in marble? So for example, Taj Mahal is made marble, and in Mount Abu, the temple made up of marble. We don't have any marble structures. Small things could be there, but not very large structures are made in marble or sandstone. Most of them are charnakite as granites, and most of them are 1,000-year-old, not a 1 or 2 year old, 1,000 years. Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. I think we have covered most of the questions.
Yes, sir.
I'm requesting Dr. Ajit Vartak sir to please do the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Madhavan sir, for a very interesting and informative presentation, which was actually focused on geology of steps of temple tanks of Tamil Nadu. I think for the first time you have covered this subject, because we find that in most of the cases where the step wells and tanks are studied, they are generally studying from the architectural point or some other point, but geologically very few people are working or worked on this tanks and temples. So thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll have the 4th lecture in the series, that is World Water Week 2022. We have 2 lectures. One, the first by architect Deepika Ghosh Saxena. She is a founder of IDEATE Delhi. She'll be talking about mapping of traditional water systems of Rajasthan. This will be followed by Dr. Shubhada Kamlapurkar from INTAC, Pune, and she will talk about Peshwai water systems in Maharashtra. So these are the 2 lectures tomorrow we have. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time, 6 p.m. with the same Zoom link also. And I think with this, we can conclude this evening session. Thank you again, Madhavan sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Supriya and other participants. Thank you very much. Thank you.